What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, the Goose, and the Goose is loose, baby. And I am here for my WrestleMania 37 predictions video. If you're new to the channel, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If the button is still red, that means you haven't subscribed. I'm on my way to 100 subscribers, and every subscription along the way counts. Please go ahead and like this video, as that will help my videos on a smaller channel get seen quicker. It helps the algorithms. It helps my content get out there. And if you stick around till the end, drop me a comment. I would really appreciate it. Let's get active in the comments if you can. But if anything else, just thank you for watching, and let's get right into it. So, WrestleMania's here. And I'm excited because it's WrestleMania and because of some of the matches. But the overall build to this show is one of the worst builds to a WrestleMania ever, in my opinion. This feels like similar to the Texas one, 31, where everybody was hurt. The build is trash. Like, nobody has a feud going longer than 2 or 3 months. Like, Randy and The Fiend have a long feud, but that's gotten weird and honestly fell off a cliff for me. Not even fell off a cliff. It's not bad. It's just, it's not original and it's nothing new. I've been somebody defending that storyline for a while, but nothing's come of it. Like, nothing exciting has happened, and I don't know what the big thing could be on Sunday other than The Fiend crushing Randy. Hopefully it's another Firefly Funhouse style thing, and maybe we'll get a John Cena appearance, because they could get away with telling the story that he's still trapped in the firehouse, so maybe. But there's just not a ton of build to a lot of these matches. So it's going to be a so-so show, I think. Odds are the performers will make the performances. That was redundant. Odds are the performers are going to do great because it's WrestleMania and everybody wants to have a match of the year contender. But the overall build has been so-so. Since this is a 2-night card and it's a big card, I'm not going to spend too much time on every match. The matches I actually care more about, I'll probably spend more time on. So, starting off, night number 1. I doubt this opens the show, but I'm going to predict it first because it's the story I think is debatably the worst story going into WrestleMania. And that's Braun and Shane. It's literally like Shane showed up on the typical, I'm here to cash in for a WrestleMania paycheck. But really, it was more likely Vince brought him in because he thinks his son's a bigger star than he is. And they think the McMahon name still has pull, but nobody wants to see this match, I promise. Nobody. And I really don't care who wins. Braun looks idiotic. There's fucking train noises accompanying him. What is this? Are you 6? Choo-choo. Braun's an idiot. Shane looks like a dickhead. Nobody wins here. I'm going to say Shane wins because Braun throws him through the cage or over the cage or to the fucking moon. I don't know. It's bad. The second match of the night, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus John Morrison and The Miz. This is an interesting one because it started off as a one-on-one with just Bad Bunny and The Miz, but the rumors all along had been that it would be a tag match, so we all kind of knew it was going to come to this. Bad Bunny, unless he shocks us, I doubt he's good enough to work a match yet by himself, but I think this match could be fun, honestly. I like Bad Bunny. I like the fact that all the guys, like all the wrestlers, are saying he's incredibly respectful. He respects the business. He's going about the celebrity appearance thing the right way. And I think this is going to be the objective of Bad Bunny in WWE needs to be to get Damian Priest over. So that's what I'm going to hope happens. And I'm going to say Damian Priest and Bad Bunny win off of a big finish by Damian Priest. Whatever his finish is, he hits it. And maybe Bad Bunny gets the pin after like a frog splash. But I think the object here needs to be get Damian Priest over. I doubt Bad Bunny sticks around after Mania, but if he did, I wouldn't care if they got a tag title match, or I wouldn't mind if they got a tag title match. I mean, I don't know. If they're a real tag team, cool. But if the objective is just get over Damian Priest and then Bunny leaves, that's fine as well. But I'm going Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. The third match on night number one is. I'm excited for this, honestly. It's the New Day versus AJ and Omos. And Omos. Um, Omos is awesome. I think he's done the intimidating big guy thing better than most people in the past have. I think a lot of times these oafs look a little goofy, like Kozlov or Big Cass when they try to make him go on his own. The fact that he's not talking is working. AJ as the mouthpiece and the worker is beautiful. The only reason I kind of have a weird feeling in my mouth about this match, it feels like the Hurt Business should be in there, and it feels like they shouldn't have broken up. I think this should have been a Hurt Business New Day. Maybe throw in AJ and Omos and make it a triple threat ladder match, or a 3-team ladder match, or TLC. But the fact that the Hurt Business broke up and then led to AJ and Omos kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth about the match. But something nobody's talking about. Of course, they want to get Omos over here, but AJ becomes a Triple Crown winner with a tag title win. So I am going to predict AJ and Omos win the tag team titles, and AJ Styles becomes a Grand Slam champion. You can be a Grand Slam champion without having an IC title, right? It's just any of the mid-card belts? Probably. Yeah, I'm going for AJ and Omos. Now is probably the match I'm most excited for between the ropes on night one, and that's Seth and Cesaro. These are two of the best workers in the world. I think Seth, the fact that he's a heel now, and on Twitter, he's kind of doing like a Donald Trump thing where he yells in all caps. He's great. Seth is excellent, and Cesaro deserves his first singles match at Mania to be with a great competitor, and I think Seth is going to be excellent. I kind of feel like Seth is going to get the win. No. I have a feeling he will, but I'm still going to predict Cesaro, because odds are a heel will be leaving WrestleMania as Universal Champion. I'd honestly bet everything I have on it. Like, there's no way Daniel Bryan walks out of this with a title. He's either there to eat a pin or tap out. I'm sorry, but I don't see any way he wins. And I think Roman needs to be the one leaving with the title. And if that's the case, they're going to need a top babyface on SmackDown to go against heel champion. And I think you got to build up Cesaro and give him the win over Seth. So I am going to say Cesaro beats Seth. And Ross Tweddle from Cultaholic said he wants to see Cesaro swing Seth 100 times. Yes, I'm down for that. If there's a big counter on the Titantron or on the scoreboard overhead, I wouldn't mind, like, throughout the match, every time he swings him, they keep the tally going, because I don't think you can do 100 swings at once. I mean, maybe he can, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a counter as the match goes on. And now there are two matches left, the WWE Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship. I am going to say the women close the show. So I'm going to predict Bobby and Drew first. Bobby and Drew feels like the right match, but the way they got here was so disjointed. They broke up the Hurt Business and brought in Baron Corbin. All of this stuff has been to ensure Drew doesn't get booed. That's 100% why it happened. If the Hurt Business was coming into WrestleMania at full strength, I honestly think Drew could get booed, especially if he were to go over. The crowd is really, or the internet community at least, is really behind Bobby right now. And I don't want to see his title reign end. Or I didn't. When he was with the Hurt Business, I didn't. Now he's kind of with Corbin, but MVP has been clear to make it obvious that Corbin is not a part of the Hurt Business. So maybe, best case scenario, it was all a ruse, and Cedric and Shelton come out during the match, cost Drew, Bobby retains. And then on Monday, the Hurt Business celebrate together and talk shit about how they fooled us all. And I hope that's the case. but I don't think it's going to be. I'm going to predict Drew McIntyre going over clean, and they're trying to give him his win back in front of a crowd that he didn't get last year, so maybe it'll main event. But because of the uncertainty around if Drew is going to get a positive reaction, I think they put the women on last, and this is going to be interesting because I might be about to predict a heel as well. If they were going to end one night with a heel and one night with a babyface. Okay, so Drew retains. Drew, if it's not closing, but I can't see. My hang up was if Bianca and Sasha are closing the show, is that because either A, Bobby's retaining, or B, is it because they don't want Drew to go on last and get booed? Even though they want him to be a babyface. Either way, I'll say Drew and Bobby don't main event. Drew wins. And the main event of night one of WrestleMania is Royal Rumble winner Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. And Raquel Gonzalez just won her title. I think the Raw Women's title is going to change hands. Here is my shock of shockers. I think Sasha Banks is going to close WrestleMania holding that title. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't think the three women coming out of Mania weekend with titles should be Bianca, Raquel, and Rhea. I don't think we go 3 for 3, and I think Sasha retains the title against Bianca, and this feud continues. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I want to throw out like a wild prediction. Oh, I forgot to predict the women's eliminator. It's obviously not going to close night one. It'll probably be pre-show if they do that. But the women's, and I'm not being unenthusiastic about the women's division because it's the women's division. I'm being unenthusiastic because they get booked like shit. I'm sorry, but every tag team, every women's tag team title feud directly ties into another feud, mainly the titles. And that shouldn't be the case. Build your own stories. Stop making every title challenger the champion and their challenger against the tag team. It's ridiculous. You guys have been booking the women like shit for a year. Change it. And hopefully start tonight. Because on night one, I'm going to go... Frankly, because they're a real team, I'm going to pick the Riot Squad. And I'll open up night two by having the Riot Squad win the tag titles. Have a real team hold your titles for once. And please, God, have Shayna maybe just, retire Nia. I don't know. I hate Nia Jax. Maybe it's because I see her on Twitter and she's terrible to people. But, I don't know. I'm not a big Nia fan. Reginald is even worse. I liked Reginald at first, but now he is just a nuisance and an annoyance. And I hope Shayna just destroys both of them after they lose the titles. But that means I have the Riot Squad coming out with the tag titles. Now we have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens with Logan Paul involved. I don't know. I don't know what the point of this match is. I'm obviously doing these predictions before the final SmackDown because I want to get more views, but I don't know what the story is here. Logan showed up with Sami, but then told Sami he kind of thinks he's crazy. But then Kevin Owens doesn't like him. So I feel like maybe Logan Paul ends up aligning with Sami just because KO's a dick. If KO hits a stunner on Logan Paul on the Friday Night SmackDown, then Logan Paul will be a heel with Sami. But I don't know what they want to do here. I really don't. I hope these guys are given 20 to 25 minutes to tear the house down and steal the show. And if they are, they could have a match of the year. With all of that being said, I'm going to say Sami Zayn gets the win with help from Logan Paul. I think what probably happens is Kevin Owens goes on top of the ship, or the Titantron or goes for a huge spot and Sammy saves, or Logan saves Sammy in the same way that Sammy saved Kevin when Shane fell off the cell. Or was it? Yeah, you know the spot I'm talking about. Logan Paul will pull Sammy up, Kevin Owens will crash through something and get pinned. The reason I don't think they're going to give KO the rub here and they'll give it to Sammy is because I think KO is probably going to win Money in the Bank. And if they already know that, you don't have to worry about putting him over because he's about to get over huge when he pulls down that briefcase. So I'll say Sammy wins at Mania. Now we get into the big 5 matches, the final 5 of WrestleMania. Riddle and Sheamus. This is so hard for me because I love Sheamus, and I'm excited for what this match will be between the ropes. But Riddle needs something new. If they can make this, the stoner thing can work if they allow it to. Him forgetting his lines, kind of funny, but I'm worried they're going to run that into the ground now. Oh, God. I guess what I'll say here is hopefully this is a match that can kind of legitimize Riddle. Have him absolutely go to war with Sheamus. And I would have Riddle retain. Because I think something else is going to happen in the other mid-card title match. But I would have Riddle retain after a grueling match with Sheamus. Something needs to happen soon, though, for Riddle. I wouldn't mind if he snapped and went heel. I don't know what it is, but him just being dumb can't work. Him being a stoner and him being an idiot can be separate things, despite the way this is being written. He can be a funny stoner who kicks ass, but right now he's an unfunny stoner who kicks ass, which just makes him annoying and gives stoners a bad name. But I am going to say Riddle retains here. Mainly because I think, frankly, the future isn't Sheamus. Like, Sheamus is old as hell. And I thought he was going to retire last year because of how bad his neck and back were, or maybe it was just his back. He was really hurt, and I didn't think he'd ever come back. So Sheamus might be on borrowed time, so I wouldn't be putting titles on him. So I'll go with Riddle with a retention here. Now getting into the Intercontinental Championship match, which is Big E, the champion, versus Apollo. Cool note, Wale is going to perform Big E's theme for Mania, which is awesome. I love that. The build to this feud has been really good, frankly. I like what they've done with Apollo's new character, going back to his Nigerian roots. Big E getting a little more intense is good. I think this feud should continue as well. And the way I think you continue this feud is by having Apollo Crews win the title. As much as I'd love to see Big E go on a long run, Apollo's hot. Apollo's new character is cool. I want to see this feud continue with these two. And I think the next chapter of this feud is taking the title from Big E and having him... Because even now, when there was that one promo he cut right before Fastlane that was good. And then Fastlane was a little too goofy of a match for me. Like, Big E was trying too hard and the talking wasn't working. I'm going to need Big E to snap. Keep him face, but I'm going to need what he does between the rings, probably at Backlash or Money in the Bank. Whatever. I mean, hell, maybe he's dropping the strap here to go get a briefcase. If you do well, they don't do a briefcase on each brand anymore. They do a men and a women's. But Big E and KO, both of them should be considered favorites for Money in the Bank right now. And if Big E loses the title, which I think he will, could be setting up something big for SummerSlam, which I would have Big E challenge Roman Reigns, who will get to what I think should happen with him. But I would have Big E versus Roman in the main event of SummerSlam, where Big E announces the cash-in ahead of time. Make him the biggest babyface possible. He's too good to fail. Push Big E to the moon. And that starts with a loss. So now it is The Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. And I don't know, man. I was tweeting about how I liked this stuff, and I do. I like the spooky. Undertaker is what brought me into wrestling, but like, what's the point? This is all been this all just feels so dragged out. What has changed in anything? What is I don't know, man. This all should have been amazing, and it wasn't, and it hasn't been. So hopefully whatever they have planned for this weekend, this match needs to save this story, if that makes sense. Whatever the blow off of this is better be massive or something that's a huge spectacle. Because I don't know, man. This Alexa's good, but she's cutting the same promos every week. It's the same formula of Randy wrestles. She interferes. It's all just, I need something big in the conclusion. But with all of that being said, I am going to pick the Fiend Bray Wyatt to win. I think this Melted Fiend is probably like a limited run in terms of what it looks like physically. So I wonder what the next phase of the Fiend is. Maybe the next phase of the Fiend is triggered through a loss. Now, I'm going to go with the Fiend getting a win because, frankly, Bray should never lose a Mania again after losing to Cena and Undertaker. Now, getting into the semi-main event of night number 2, we have the Raw Women's Championship. The champion Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. This is interesting because going into this, I really thought they would turn Asuka heel. But it feels like after their tag team match where they were fighting Shayna and Nia, they've kind of had Rhea be a little more heelish. And I think she was calling people peasants on Twitter. So, like, if Rhea's a heel, I love that. Because whenever you turn her face again, it'll be monstrous. Especially if it's after a long heel run as champion. Now, I don't think she's a full heel yet, but I think we're getting there. So I think maybe she goes full heel on Sunday. But after last year, she cannot lose this match. Rhea Ripley, if you lose this match, if Rhea Ripley is booked to lose this match, fire her. Let her go somewhere else, because you have ruined it. Rhea Ripley is like, if you don't see anything in Rhea Ripley, I don't know what the hell you're doing. To me, she's as can't miss as Aleister Black was. But look what they did with Aleister. So I think Rhea needs a W here. She needs to look dominant. And for I have a feeling Charlotte might be involved in a triple threat. I have a feeling that might change night 1 so that they can capitalize on it on night 2. Maybe Bayley versus Charlotte to determine who makes this a triple threat. I don't know. But then that's 2 triple threats as your mains. Probably not. I'm going with Rhea to get the W and the title. And here it is. The main event of WrestleMania 37. Roman Reigns, champion, against Edge, Royal Rumble winner, and Daniel Bryan, the guy who probably should have won the Royal Rumble. Edge is doing great work. I have been critical of Edge recently, and it's not for anything he's doing necessarily. It's more so just, man's old. He looks old. He's great on the mic and everything, but he should not be able to keep up with Roman Reigns. Him and Daniel Bryan, because of their injury histories, that's a close matchup, and I like that. I almost wish Edge and Daniel were having a singles match, and Roman had something going on, maybe against Jay or The Rock if he would have been here. But if you're not allowed to sell out the arena, you're not cashing in on The Rock. This is interesting, because I think Daniel Bryan was added to eat a pin. And I'm so afraid it's going to be for Edge. I do not want Edge as world champion. And more so than not wanting Edge as world champion, I do not want Roman Reigns losing his title. He tapped out at Fastlane. There was no ref in the ring, but we saw him tap out. He cannot lose his title. He needs a definitive victory over somebody here. It's probably going to be Daniel, so that Edge can continue on his whatever is happening. I'm sorry if I'm dismissive of Edge, but like, he's 50. How old is he? Go be an actor. I don't know. I got nothing for Edge nowadays. Um, I'm picking Roman. Roman should maybe the next time Roman should lose a match at the earliest is against Big E at SummerSlam. Frankly, I wouldn't mind if Roman went on a 2 or 3 year run, and that sounds insane, but who else is going to do it if not Roman? Roman Reigns is the best wrestler in WWE right now, character-wise. I think he's arguably the best wrestler in the world, or like not the best wrestler in the world, but the best character in the world right now. The best sports entertainer in the world right now. I don't know. There's definitely people better than him in this match, wrestling wise, or only Daniel. Edge is not better than Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan. I think I made that point in another video. Edge is not. He said he was better than Daniel at everything. You're not better than Daniel Bryan at one fucking thing. I'm a little agitated because I'm real afraid Roman's going to lose this belt here. And he fucking shouldn't. I would have Roman pin Edge. Plain and simple. I would have Roman pin Edge while Daniel taps Edge out. So then maybe you go one more out of Daniel and Roman. I just don't see future money in Edge. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, but what's the point? Why should Edge have a title reign right now? If Edge is going to have a title reign, do it on Raw, where nobody's watching anyway. Or your show is dog shit anyway. Where there's not really a clear champion right now. Bobby's champion, but you're probably going to have him lose to Drew, but Drew doesn't really need it right now. I thought Edge would have made more sense on Raw. Instead, you brought him to SmackDown, and I think he needs to eat a pin. I would have Roman Reigns and Mania with the belt up. Wow, damn it, I just predicted a heel to win at the end of night 1 and night 2. There's no way in hell that happens. But, like I said earlier, there's probably no way Bianca and Sasha close night 1. It'll probably be Drew closing night 1 with the title, so that's your heel night 2 and Drew night 1, so it'd be Drew and Roman leaving as champions, which I would do it with Bobby and Roman, but I get it. You need a babyface win. So I think Drew probably closes night 1 with the title above his head, and Roman closes night 2 with the title above his head. All right, guys. With all of that being said, what's your excitement level? I get to watch night 1 live, but I do not get to watch night 2 live as I have work. So that kind of sucks, but oh well. Tell me your predictions down below. Tell me what predictions you think I'm wrong about. I shared some of my opinions in here. Tell me what opinions you agree or disagree with. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hopefully this WrestleMania is a good one. I'm cautious. I'm nervous. I'm excited for a couple of the matches, but if the card mirrors the build, this will be a terrible WrestleMania. So we'll see. Thank you guys for hanging out today. The Goose is out.